Hey everybody, it's Monster Forge again, and I'm here today with Transformers Age of the Primes Alpha Trion, who was one of the original 13 Primes. More importantly than him being a Prime, to me, is the fact that the character, Alpha Trion, he was the Autobot that basically reformatted Orion Pax into Optimus Prime. And he has a lot of important. He's an important part of a lot of storylines in Transformers, and I've always thought he was really cool. And I've always wanted an Alpha Trion figure. They've had some in the past, but I've never been really crazy about them. But this one to me looks the most like he looked in the cartoon, and specifically, he looks like he was when he was a younger Autobot, whenever he helped Optimus Prime and Elita 1. But he's a really cool looking guy. You can see the packaging. You got the Primes, picture of him, and some of the promotional pictures of the figures on the back here. I got the hiccups. Excuse me. Trying to keep from hiccuping while I'm talking. But anyway, really cool looking package with a really cool looking figure in it. And we'll get him out of the package and we'll show him off in just a minute. And here is Alpha Trion out of the package. And this is both a fantastic figure and a very frustrating figure for a couple of reasons for me. Well, just knocked something down. Anyway, the good things about him, he looks just like Alpha Trion. He looks like the younger version of Alpha Trion. He comes with the book, the Cybertronian, I think it's the Book of the Primes. I'm not really sure about that part of the lore. I know that the main reason why I know Alpha Trion is he is like the mentor to Optimus Prime. He reformatted Orion Pax into Optimus Prime in that famous episode with the aerial bots going back into the history of Cybertron, and he just looks fantastic. Very, very accurate to the way he looked in the cartoon, and just a really cool looking figure. Now, and here's the back of him here. And you can see they kind of make a simulation of his cape with these parts from the vehicle mode, which is kind of a clever way to use the vehicle parts in there. But you'll notice his head's kind of flat. Not really sure what that's all about, but you know, that's just one of them things. It looks good from different angles, so that's all right. But he's a nice figure. I'll go real quick through like the articulation. His head's on a swivel that goes all the way around. He can look forward and down a little bit, and he can look up a lot. And this is all for transformation stuff. He has a cut joint or a swivel at the shoulder. He has a joint that goes all the way out to the side. His shoulder pads are on hinges. He has a hinge at the elbow. He has a bicep swivel. And his hands go, get this out of here. His hands go a little bit in because of transformation, but you can use it. And the hands do open and close. No wrist swivels, which in this case is a shame because his accessories really, it would have been so much better because of his accessories and all. He's supposed to be able to write in the book, but he has no swivel, so you can't really position his arm where it looks like he's writing. The book itself is a really cool accessory. It has a peg for him to hold, and there's some little slots here that are for other aspects of the figure. But the book actually has pages, which I like. They're like this translucent red, and the pages do come apart, and you get like one of them it's like a recorder. It's like almost like a tape deck from back in the day. It's got the reverse, play, stop. Oh no, it's pause, play, stop, reverse, and forward. And that's pretty cool. And it has a picture of what I'm assuming that's Cybertron. Not really sure, but it's cool. And this page has some Cybertronian writing on it. And this little picture, was that 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's 9 little diamond shapes in there. I don't know what exactly that's for. I don't know what it means, but still it's cool to have that accessory. But, you know, when you open it up and he's supposed to be able to record in this book, you can have him hold the book in his hand. Okay, you can have him hold the book in his hand, but it's really hard to have him posed writing in the book because there's no swivel at the wrist. And you can't really get him, you know, it's kind of like, no. You can't really get him to look like he's writing in the book, which really sucks. I tend to not use, you know, in a little bit of goofing around with this figure I've had since I got it to kind of figure out the transformation and all. I don't really use the book because it about the only thing you do is have him pose with the book and, you know, with the little quill up in the air, like, I'm going to write in this someday whenever I'm given wrist swivels. It's really crap that they didn't give him, and they could have done it. On this little hinge right here, they could have had a swivel, and that would have fixed all of that. But anyway, that's the gripe I have about that. These can be stored back here. Let's see, where is it? Yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly where it is. Well, I know you can put the quill right here on this part. And I had the little backpack thing stored on him earlier. Is it under here? No, it's not under here. I can't remember where you stored it. Oh, my bad. I'm a dummy. You can actually put the book on his, you can hang the book on his back right there. So he can store them whenever he's not using them. And that's nice, I guess. I prefer not to use the book and the quill because it's really disappointing that he can't hold them the right way. But whatever. I'm not going to fuss too much because the figure's still good. So yeah, I was going along with the articulation. He has if you move his little cape stuff out the way, one of his accessories is a shield, which it becomes part of the back whenever you fold it out a certain way, and the cape hangs next to it, so it looks like capes. But you really, you take it off, and let's see if I got it right here. No. You fold this in like this and kind of clip it together, and this little tab will flip around. Come on. There we go. The tab will flip around, and you'll see there's a little hole right here and a peg right here, and that will peg onto the, there's a peg hole right there and a peg, and you kind of marry the two together, and he has a shield, which I do like that. That's pretty cool. I've given him from another figure that I had. I got a sword that fits the 5mm peg. So, you know, I have him with a sword and a shield, which, you know, I like my Alpha TRION going into battle. But anywho, if you move the cape out of the way, you can actually, he has a waist swivel. It's a really good waist swivel, and he also has an ab crunch. And that's mainly for the transformation, but it's still, you know, that's cool. It's nice to have a figure with ab crunch, especially when his head can go forward like that. So you can really get him in some dynamic poses if you do it right. I will smash you. You know, something like that. That's really good. But he also has, and I'm not going to try to remove the thing because it was a pain in the butt to get it out, his Autobot symbol that sits here on his stomach, you can actually remove it. And I'm not really sure why. It shows him holding it in his hand. I don't remember him using the Autobot symbol for anything like that in the show, but it's been a while since I watched all the episodes. But also another thing interesting is the little pegs, the little spikes that are on his shoulders, they peg in, and you can put them anywhere a 5mm port goes. So you can stick them here on his legs or whatever, but I prefer to keep them where the design from the show has them, up on his shoulders. So that's cool. But that's pretty much it. He's a nice figure. Oh, I never finished the articulation. I'm a dummy. These little hip skirt things come up, and he can kick all the way forward. He can kick all the way back. This kind of stops him back there. He can move all the way out. He's got a swivel at the upper thigh. He's got a bend at the knee. He has he of course has the ankle swivels so you can get good stances, and you can actually he's got little heel things there. You can kind of pop them loose on both sides so you can have him flying if you want to. The toes will point down like that. That's as far as they'll go up, and that's about as far as they'll go down. But you know, if you want to get some dynamic poses in there, that's good for that. But overall, he's a really nice looking figure. I kind of have a feeling I'm going to keep him more in robot mode than anything else, because that's most of the time when you saw, I'm trying to remember, did they ever have Alpha Trion turned into a vehicle in the show? I don't remember him transforming into a vehicle. But like I said, it's been a while since I've seen it, so. But anyway, I like giving him the sword I have here. This was from a third-party Transformer kit that I got, and the figures in it didn't really use swords, so hey, he's got a sword now. But kind of showing you this Prime with other Primes. We have Vector Prime, and they look practically like family. And I have hold on. I have Prima Prime, or Prima Prime. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to say that, but I always call him Prima Prime. And so he looks really good with them. They look like, you know, his fellow comrades from the original 13. And of course, you can't have Alpha Trion without having his greatest student, which would be Optimus Prime. And they look really good together. That's not the official Studio Series. This is a knockoff. It's the Iron General from, I don't even remember what the name of the toy company was. Got it on AliExpress for like, I think I paid like 23 bucks for him. And it's just as good, if not better, than the Studio Series 86 Prime. But anyway, that's how he looks with, you know, other figures. He's going to be a great addition. I really like collecting the ancient Transformers, like the Primes and, you know, Alpha Trion here. I've always liked the character of Alpha Trion. I like these wise, older bots. They have that sort of the archaic forms to them and all. And so he's a very welcome addition to the collection. But we'll take a look at his transformation next. And this is where one of the major frustration comes in for me. and take away the sword, because that's not really takes part in it, and we'll take this away. One major thing, when I got mine, you'll see here, if you look at the legs, one of these is not like the other. See that little shiny metal bit right there? That's the pin. And on this side, you can see the head of the pin. This has none. None. So guess what happens? Oh yeah, it just came without a pin in it. And it didn't even have the pin press fit in it. They just never put the part in. So mine is defective. I'm going to fix it, but I wanted to show what he looks like out of the package without the fix. That's very frustrating. This was, now I had a friend of mine had a coupon, and I used to get 25% off of the figure, so it wasn't as bad. But the retail on this guy is $34.99 or whatever. That's a $35 figure, and it's right out the gate. It's got a part that's almost completely unusable. And when you transform him, you have to do certain things to make that actually work. And the other parts of the alt mode have to kind of fit into that part to hold it together. It's pretty crappy. I do know how to fix it. I do have a metal rod that I took from another transformer that fits it, and so I will fix that. But you know, for the purpose of showing this, like doing this review of this toy, that's very frustrating. And that doesn't mean to say that this is a bad figure. It's just that the quality control is kind of a problem if that kind of stuff is slipping by in the factory. Now, granted, I imagine working in the factory in China is not exactly a walk in the park. And I'm not really mad at whatever person put that together. It's got to be really rough working there. But anywho, we shall commence to transformicating this guy. So the first thing you do is you flop his head back. Ooh, look up there, it's the rafters. And you would take his arms and put them out like this. You can go ahead and fold the wrists down so that these pegs are pointing forward. And all of that will come into play later. Now what you do is you open this back part right here, and this little thing right here will flip all the way through and come over and peg in right there. And it really just, it covers up the head. And he has sort of like it's kind of a what's his name? Scourge thing going on with the head up there, which, you know, he's very similar to Scourge in his vehicle mode. So that's kind of cool. You can go ahead and lift this thing up and put it back in place right here. Now, what you do is you're supposed to turn these like this, and you fold up. I see it already. I'm just going to take this off because this part will foul up everything if I don't. And I'll get this thing out to the side, because on this side you can see it. Wait a minute. It's a little tight. It's just frustrating. I was doing just fine a little while ago, but now, of course, it's being a pain in the behind. Well, that's fun. Hold on one. Yeah, I had forgotten. There's a little way of doing it. You just take it from the top and sort of kick it down like that. It kind of kicks out like that, and then you can swivel the thing out to the side, because that's what it's going to do whenever you put this together. Now you fold up make sure that the ankles are pushed in. You fold the heels up into the front of the foot, and then fold the whole thing down, and these parts will hook together. You can see they've got the alternating pegs and posts, so you sandwich them together like this, and everything fits together pretty tightly on it, which is nice. It's nice to have that going on. Now, make sure I got this right. You turn this around here, and what you do then is, where you had the ab crunch before, of course, it couldn't be focused. The ab crunch before, you fold this down like this. And oh, before you do that, these little side panels here, you fold them out, and it's got a ball joint, and you fold this around, okay? Fold it out, and then fold the, it's better to do it up here. Fold it down so these are pointing forward in the front. And then you can kind of sandwich this stuff together. There's a certain way that you can see here, there's like a little, there's a little clamp looking thing here, and it will clamp onto these two pegs right here. So you just kind of, you have to kind of move it around a little bit till you get it to sit, and it will push down flush on there. These don't really peg into anything, but they do, there's little peg things right there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but they just kind of sit over the edge of this thing. So you just kind of rest them up against there. And I'll show you how this goes over here. You turn the arms this way and fold the whole thing around. And there's a slot right there and a tab right there that will sandwich in together. And then this little peg that's on the front of his arm will fit into this little gap right there. And that's how you know you've got it lined up right, because it won't go together unless it is lined up right. So that side is really, that's what it's supposed to look like. Now, on the side that I haven't repaired yet, you just have to kind of, see where they go like this. You have to kind of hold it there, and like I said, yours probably won't have this problem. This was just a little QC error with mine. But that's mostly the ship. Now you do have the shield left, and what you do with the shield, if you go to the, yeah, that's right. You go to this side of it, and you got the little peg thing. It will fold around this way, and you turn this way. You'll see there's like a little slot right there, and there's a tab right there, and you fit those together. And then these little wing thingies, there's a slot. Oh, there's a slot right there, and there's a peg right there, and you just fit it in there. And the way it's supposed to go is it just kind of, it'll sit in place. You have to kind of get it just right. But yeah, I got it sitting in there like that. And it'll do the same over here. And all of this stuff, you know, if I couldn't repair that shin, those things will kind of sandwich it in place and hold it there. And you can take the book, and the book, you'll see there's a little tab right here. And you take the book with the peg pointing down. The peg will fit in here, but it doesn't really tab into anything. But you tab the little peg right there with this slot, and it fits flush, and it nicely closes up the bottom of the ship there. And then you can take the quill, and let's see, where was the quill? The quill pegs in somewhere. Is it right here? I'll find it. Come on, get in there, boy. I'm not really looking at the instructions right now. I'm doing this from memory mostly. Oh, there we go. That pegs in right there. That's another thing too. There's a little location thing that tabs into, so that sits. And I'm trying to remember where the little peg, is this little peg for the wing? Yeah. Right in here somewhere. Come on, my friend. Huh. I had it pegged in earlier. I don't know why I'm having a hard time getting it pegged in now. It's not up here. There is a spot for it. I won't say. For one thing, the little peg, the little hole on this is like really small. Let's see if I can get it to peg in this way. Ah, yep, that's it. So it pegs in right there and it holds it in place. So there you go. And that is, And you kind of squeeze these parts together a little bit better. Doesn't want to hold together on mine. And it could be because that knee is not fixed or whatever. But I think it's a pretty cool looking vehicle mode. A very Cybertronian cruiser. And it hides a lot of the parts really well. Which is cool. And I really like how the book just fills in that empty part there. It's fine without it. If you take this thing out, it's, you know, it's not really bad looking or anything. Which, like I said, I'm not really planning on using the book and the quill. But very cool spaceship. I love it's a translucent piece over it's translucent red over silver. Like it's painted silver on the inside. And it looks really nice. And just a really cool ship. And overall, I really do like this figure. There's just a couple of, you know, frustrating things with like the wrists not articulating well where you can have him writing in the book. And that one QC problem that probably won't be on it whenever you pick up yours. But I found this guy at Target. He was supposed to be $34.95 or $97 or whatever their prices are. $99, I think. And I got 25% off because there's a coupon you can have right now if you're a Circle member. So, you know, kind of knocks it down below the Voyager price, which is nice. So, but it's a really cool figure. I would recommend it, other than, you know, knowing ahead of time that the wrists are an issue. You won't be able to pose him writing in the book. And unless somebody knows a way to do it, that would be fine if you can kind of figure an alternate way of him holding it. But yeah, pretty good. I like it. Love it. I love the figure, and I'm glad to have it as part of my collection. So good luck out there hunting if you want this guy, and I'll talk to you in the next one.